everyone. Um, I'm Rose Rat, and as some of you may know, there's a new Castlevania game that's been announced coming out 2026, as you can see here. So this game was announced for Castlevania's 40th anniversary, which is this year. Exciting, I guess. And it's I watched the trailer and I was like, huh, it kind of looks interesting. And then a couple Castlevania YouTubers that I watch started looking at the trailer and looking at it again. I was like, huh, what's going on here? And so I wanted to just take a moment and look through this. Why is Switch grayed out? What does this do? This. Oh. Oh, shit. Okay. 14.99. Paris is engulfed as monstrous creatures suddenly emerge from the shadows, armed with the legendary Holy Whip. I thought it wasn't going to be the vampire killer because it's weird and golden. Whatever, we'll get into it. I wanted to learn like what's officially out about this game. I was going to start with its official page on the Konami website. We'll start with the Steam listing, I suppose. Armed with the legendary Holy Whip, the vampire killer, Trevor Belmont's successor. Okay, not descendant, which is interesting. So this must be his, I guess this is Trevor's daughter? Trevor Belmont's successor ventures into the burning streets of the looming castle to hunt down the beasts. Will she succeed in saving Paris from devastation? Crack your whip to move around freely like a trapeze artist. Master the whip mechanics and be creative, pounce on your prey like a wolf in fast-paced combat. You know what this reminds me of is, oh, fuck, what's it called? The 32-bit game, Bloodlines. This, like swinging from the whip and she uses it to like grapple to enemies. It makes me think a lot of Bloodlines with its Belmont and how he could like swing from stuff. And I guess Super Castlevania 4 also had swinging, technically. I always forget about that though. Oh, that's right. John Morris. He's not a Belmont. Yeah, okay, so this is very like the 32-bit games. Set 23 years after Dracula's okay, so yeah, she like definitely is his direct daughter then. Follow a young Bel It's weird how they're being cagey about the name, right? Follow a young Belmont's journey in an all-new 2D action exploration title from Konami, Evil Empire, and Motion Twin. Evil Empire and Motion Twin, of course, are the team from. I know Evil Empire worked on Rogue Prince of Persia, and Motion Twin is from Dead Cells. I'm not sure if both also worked on the other game. I guess we can talk about this once we get into the trailer. But the first thing that I thought watching the footage was that, damn, this looks a lot like Rogue Prince of Persia. Medieval Paris, where the tolling bells herald the end. Okay, that's exactly the same. Satisfying whip action. I'll give it to him. It does look satisfying. A large selection of weapons and abilities. Yeah, and then this, hold on. This looks like that item crash, Grand Cross. And then she uses a cross. We see a bone dragon there. Oh, a frozen shade. Medusa. There were Medusa heads up here. Yeah, there we go. Some Medusa heads there. That guy looks like, I guess he doesn't really. I was gonna say he looks like Gaibon, but second thought he doesn't. Oh, there's a ghost. Environment hazards that will make you grit your teeth. Yeah, man. Biomes are packed with secrets, traps, and puzzles. It's not just about muscles, it's about brains too. That's what I figured with, I mean, it looks like a Metroidvania. And so I thought that it would have those things. A new art style, expanding further the series' classic Gothic style. This unique, colorful art style will let you discover the world of Castlevania like never before. Yeah, it looks extremely Rogue Prince of Persia and Dead Cells. You could tell it was made by those people. Beloved elements, oh death. of Castlevania make their return. True to the roots of the series, you'll encounter colorful characters and powerful foes. Stumble upon many secret chambers to go. Oh, the meet in the wall. Numerous hidden items and whip your way through challenging areas. Switch. Will it be on Switch too? That's the big question on everyone's minds about this game. Before I start talking about all the thoughts and questions I have, I would like to watch the trailer. Sorry, I've already seen the trailer, and I know I'm already pausing it. This is a bad sign, but I wanted to take this opportunity to like sort of fine-tooth comb it a little bit. Maybe we'll do a more straightforward first watch, and then we'll sort of go back and look at things, and I'll talk about whatever. Okay, let's start from the beginning again. So I just want to like get it out of the way, like from just this like screenshot, the sort of the art in the background here, the narration, the fact that it's set in France, and then if we jump ahead to the ending here, and like this and this, and then we can see this is obviously aged up, but like this is Trevor's anime design. This is very deliberately evocative of Sypha's anime design. Like this is extremely reminiscent of the anime, right? Like mostly season one, but like or I should say mostly the adaptation of CV3, obviously, but also a little bit of Nocturne with like it's set in France and stuff like that. I'm just getting heavy anime vibes from both the Netflix anime, Nocturne, and the first one, which is annoying that it doesn't have a subtitle and multiple seasons, so we can't call it like, oh, it's the first season, but we also can't call it a distinct name. That's a different thing. Straight away, the movement looks very good. Like you've got this air dash, you've obviously got the whip to swing around and zip to enemies. The movement, it looks like it will be very fun. And then they've got the fucking, yeah, they've got the dive move from Hollow Knight. While we're talking about the movement, she does here. She's like playing like normal, and then she presses, I assume this is like a button press or something, and then there's like this weird halo thing around her. This like glow. What is this? And she like falls really slowly while it's active. Like it changes the physics, which is interesting. This is this is another interesting aspect. What's going on here? So wait, is that a damage number? It is. Look at that. Damage numbers. Like you get a whip from a chest. It feels very much like they're trying to signal to us, like, don't worry guys, this is going to be like a real Metroidvania, Castlevania game. Like, oh, you find extra weapons you can use. And like they showed it on, that might have been in a video I saw and not here. No, it is here. Like they're showing us, they showed her using this sword here. And like they also show off the backflip move, like how Shinoa does it. And it's like you saw, I was able to point out a lot of the enemies, like, oh, Frozen Shade, Medusa Head, Death, like they're showing off a lot of the like classic Castlevania stuff that's like in the you know the Metroidvania style games. And it does I was gonna wait until a little later, but you know what? I'll get into it now. Fuck it. It does feel a little weird that they're making this big push for, oh, look how legitimate this game is going to be. It's going to be like a real Metroidvania, like the old ones that you like, which is like, whatever. That's game marketing, right? But like, it does feel a little strange for them to be doing it after what they did to Koji Igarashi, who like invented that style of Castlevania game and is half the fucking reason that we have like the word Metroidvania and the style of game that it is. Like, obviously Metroid already existed, but like Castlevania is a big part of Metroidvania, you know? Like it's a foundational game in the genre. Literally. Like you can't get more foundational than Soten to Metroidvania, other than of course Super Metroid. Like so much that people will even call them Igavanias, right? And it's weird that they're just ignoring Iga when they're like trying to sell this game based on the image of the games that he made, right? And I didn't want to say it, but like this is very reminiscent of Bloodstained in a lot of ways. Like you've got the main character and she's a girl and uses a whip, and even the setting feels very like I don't know. I know Castlevania has always been sort of like, oh look, it's medieval Europe, right? But like this feels a lot closer to Bloodstain's setting than like the Sorrow games, right? And maybe it's just because Castlevania has a very specific like cultural set of signifiers, and because both this game and Bloodstained and to a certain extent the anime are all leaning fairly heavily on those signifiers to like tell you that this is a Castlevania game or a Castlevania thing. I guess if I were to form this into a real critique, it's that I would like to see Castlevania branch out more aesthetically. Like it has its niche, right? But like we've already had like 30 games that are leaning on these aesthetics, and like the sort of Rogue Prince of Persia visual flair is nice. Like it looks good. Don't get me wrong. The game looks very good. Like it's a very pretty game from this trailer. I just realized I've been fucking Sona ranting against this very bland gameplay screenshot. Um, like here, let me like look at this. These reds and pinks pop. The fucking use of color here. Those yellows, the under and like the crossplay of the green and the red here actually reminds me a lot of Hades, but that's like a me problem. That's not their fault. Here, this area is like very green and yellow. It's like kind of sickly, and oh, there's a little merman there. And it's like, look at that. Look at this fucking effect. That looks awesome. Like, this is a very good looking game. It will be, anyway. I like how it looks. I wish, and I don't know how I would fix this. I'm not a graphic designer, right? I dabble in drawing. That's the extent of my artistic knowledge. But like their use of color is phenomenal. I don't know. I would here, let me at least find a better screenshot to pause on while I talk. Here, you know what? Actually, this is like a good one. This is good enough. I would love to see them expand what a Castlevania can be. And I think that's why games like Portrait of Ruin or CV64 or hell, even Bloodlines a little bit. They're like sort of odd ducks visually, but like, well, kind of Portrait of Ruin. It's a complicated case. Portrait of Ruin when you're in the portraits, right? Because like they do something interesting that it's not just like here's a castle. And I know it's literally the name of the series, in English and Japanese actually. Castlevania, obviously, but then also Akumajo. Jo. Uh, Akuma is just demon, but it means castle. I don't know. I guess I'm not asking for less castle. I just want more unique castles. Is that too much to ask? I don't know, maybe. We've actually already scrubbed through a lot of the footage now. Just looking at the colors and the movement. Was there something? There is one last thing I'd like to touch on before I close here, but I want to see if there's anything. I will talk about this very briefly because it's only in the trailer briefly. Here, you can sort of see, and it like fades out here, but like blue rose. Haha, that's me. Like obviously the character wears blue, so I guess that's like her color. But like, you know who else had a very strong flower and rose motif? Fucking Miriam from Bloodstained. Like, I don't know. I won't rehash that. But like, it's weird, right? Like how much they're relying on it without like, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to hide it, which is just weird to me. This is another, like what I was saying, or it feels like they're showing us the map to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a Metroidvania, you know? Okay, this is one of the best shots in the trailer that we get of this unnamed successor to Trevor is the her back. First of all, she's ripped. Look at her fucking arms. Jesus. I guess this is just character design analysis now, but I like that she's clearly very visually reminiscent of Sypha, and especially like anime Sypha. But also, she looks quite a bit like Richter to me. And maybe this is just because blue, right? But like, look, her sleeves are like she is sleeveless. So she's wearing this like coat. And long coats are kind of a symbol of the Belmonts at this point. Like Anime Richter wears almost this exact coat. I think that's where I'm getting the vibes from. Anime Richter, but then also like Soma wears a long coat, and like fucking Shanoa's outfit kind of looks like this. So it's just very classic sort of Belmont design, but then she also looks like Sypha. It's effective character design. Okay, so I wanted to just get a good look, as good a look as we can at this character. They annoyingly have her face obscured by this fucking particle effect or whatever it is. Before I talk about the last thing that I want to end this out on, I want to talk about this line, Last of House Belmont. Because this kind of bothered me when I first watched it. I was like, what the fuck do you mean, last of House Belmont? He's like the first of House Belmont, basically. He's not literally. Every fucking prequel game, they say, oh, but this is the first Belmont. So there's like 5 different characters whose claim to fame are that they're earlier than the other ones. But I digress. So I was like, what do you mean, last of House Belmont? And like, this is his successor. She's using the vampire killer. Like, you can see it there in her hand. He's clearly not the last of House Belmont. I suppose it's just this guy writing the letter, this French, like, on behalf of the king. I guess he doesn't know that daughter here exists, Miss Belmondo. I don't really have much more to say on that front. That's just that's a line that perplexed me, and I think it's funny, like, because it's so obviously wrong. But in CV3, I mean, that game starts with him mourning his family. So, and then in the first Netflix anime, that is sort of where his character starts. Is like, oh, my whole family's dead. So I suppose it actually makes sense that from like an outsider POV, like everyone else thinks that he's the last one. But also, she's like somewhere around 20 in this game, right? Like, she's my age, OMG. I feel like people should start knowing by now that there's another one. Like, we can see her fighting monsters and stuff. Unless he deliberately hid her or people are just stupid. Clearly, the Belmonts are a pretty well known family in universe. Like, it's. I've wrapped back around to this line being bizarre. I'm not sure why it's included in the trailer. I think it's just to make people go, what? Which, fair play to him. It worked. So I guess my final thing I want to close out here on is I just wanted to talk about our main character here, not Sonia slash not Sypha. She, I don't know, I wanted to talk about it, but now I feel like I've said all my things. Like, her character design is deliberately evocative of both Sypha and also the other Belmonts. I like the look of the vampire killer, by the way. It's a nice thing. But, like, also, what is going on with her arm there? What's up with that? I'm sure we'll get an answer in game, but, like, there was nothing in the trailer that, like, suggested that it does anything, but clearly it will do something. I mean, you can't have an arm like that and not have it do something. Anyway, that was mostly just me rambling a lot. So, I appreciate you for sticking with it. I know this stuff isn't interesting to everybody, but it's interesting to me. If you've watched any of my streams or the VODs of them over at, I'll link the VOD channel below. You know that I am a big Soten fan. I'm generally a Castlevania fan as well. I mean, obviously. I'm obviously a big Castlevania fan, and I'm a big Soten fan. I don't think it's a perfect game. Like, there's a lot of things about that game that I don't like. A lot of that stuff is in Bloodstained too, so it's not like these modern arguments you hear about older games where it's like, oh, that was held back by the technology. Because, like, no, those little Iga quirks are in all of his games up to Bloodstained fairly recently, or the Bloodstained 2. I don't know if that's actually out yet, but I think it's not out. It's like when that comes out, I'm sure it'll have the same fucking quirks, right? But at the same time, you don't get Symphony of the Night without those quirks, and I already talked about how, like, that's the thing they're cribbing from here. This game looks like, from the trailer, it is attempting to modernize the Igavania style of game. So, Soten, the Arya games, even Bloodstained, to an extent. That's what the developers feel like they're trying to do. What Konami feels like it's trying to do is market the ephemeral idea of Castlevania to you. Castlevania is back, right? They're trying to sell you its soul, but unfortunately, what gave the Igavania games their soul is a lot of what I feel most game designers would remove in attempts to modernize. And I'm worried that this will clash and the game will feel better to control, but it will be a lesser work than the game from 1998 that we're all still chasing. I think that's about as good as I can say it. I'll probably still buy and play it though, because I'm a sucker.